here in the world of conservative messaging, as message deliverer to message deliverer, as participant to participant, where should we strike the balance between de-escalating and always being responsible and thoughtful and all of that, without becoming meek or weak? You want to fight, you want to speak truth with love, you want to continue the fight, but fight in the right way. Are you feeling where I'm headed here? How does that balance get struck to you?
I think the balance is struck in that of a father over his household. There's a difference that you innately sense when there is something that needs to be responded to with a calm, measured voice and simply looking at someone and saying no. And then there's when things, get rough and it's time to, get the fists out of the shirt sleeves, then that's necessary at times. But it requires you to be circumspect. It requires you to pay attention. You're not going to know the difference between the moments when it is appropriate to act in a manner that is confrontational, or to act in a manner that is I don't want to use the word restorative, but the peacemaker in an instance, de-escalating a situation. You have to pay attention in order to differentiate the two. And I think that in this country right now, we want quick fixed answers. We don't just want to jump in, or we do just want to jump in and solve it, instead of knowing that, well, it's a marathon run, and de-escalation and confrontation are both, in this sense, long-term addresses that we as a society have to take.
Since it is long-term and there's no way to snap a finger and make this all better overnight, does it get much worse before it gets any better?
It's a really hard question to answer, and I think the short answer is if by does it get worse, are there going to be far more incidents like this, then yes, it will get worse before it gets better. But if you mean will it get worse as in will society itself as a whole desist into kind of a cold civil war, I don't think that answer is decided yet. We do see the hintings of a spiritual revival in this country. We see a lot of men, not just along the religious and the faith aspect, which is, is your resident indie fundy Baptist Bible thumper. I'd certainly hope on those lines, but really as a society, the general American no longer taking the post-Cold War approach of, oh, I'll just let Newt Gingrich solve it for me, or I'll just let, Chuck Schumer solve it for me. The idea, and by the way, I love Newt. He's the one who came up with that example. But that in this instance, we've seen a lot of Americans throwing that old way of someone else will fix it for me. I'll just go sit, watch sports and ignore everything. That era is ending. And that's a very comforting thought, because the more people that are paying attention, the harder it is to catch people unawares. And that's what a lot of these violent movements are relying on, is catching people unaware.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.